This is Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk. This is Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk.
And welcome to another edition of the Real Talk Podcast, Real Talk Interview. Y'all know what it is. When we do this, I get the chance to sit down with people that I find interesting and have conversations with them. And what I like to do is I like to, try to give you a glimpse to the person as well as the entity, who you see them on in their social media lives or whatever it is that they do. That's the entity. I want to give you a glimpse into who they are as well. And today, we got a special one. We got a superstar in the making. I promise you. You're going to see this name, hear this name, see this face real soon, like everywhere. I want y'all to remember, y'all got to see her here at the Real Talk Podcast interview as well. I'm one of them little peoples, but when she blow up, I get to say, I know her. She ain't got to return my calls, but I know her. So who I have for you today, she is a singer, a songwriter, an artist, a creative. She is the mastermind and host of the soon-to-be hit show Frands. She is an amazing artist and more than that, an amazing person. Stream and download and buy her EP, The Lotus Project, which is out and available everywhere. Allow me to introduce to some and present to others. My churchy world just came in for just a second. That's how we say it in church world. Allow me to introduce to some and present to others. The one and only Miss Frands herself, Alexandra Fitch, a.k.a. Lex The Visionary.
When you're looking up at the after party or the backyard Bobby, are you backseat crying? Do you have somebody? When you're looking around,
What's good, Miss Lex? How you doing?
First and foremost, never use my government name ever again unless I want these people to know who I really am. I said, oh no. But I'm doing well. Glad to be here.
Good. I am so excited. We get to have this wonderful time. So for many of y'all who have seen and are fans of the Real Talk Podcast, you've seen her on here before. We've had some opportunities to have conversations with her before. We talked about some of her projects we had back then, but I promise you this interview this time is going to be unlike any other time before. I am looking for this to be my best interview to date. And so This is going to be fun. Oh yeah, pressure. I'm putting all the sauce and pressure on it. I'm not salt baiting. I'm throwing that bad boy on it. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Here we go.
This is Thanksgiving pressure where you are. It's your first time bringing the mac and cheese to Thanksgiving.
Oh,
you got that kind of pressure.
Listen. My non-dairy ass would fail every time. There's no tasting.
I mean, you can taste it. You just got to taste it the day before, and then blow up later on that night and bring it.
I don't even want to risk it. I made vegan mac and cheese one year for a friend, and we had a vegan Thanksgiving. And your face right now.
Please tell me they were vegan at least, and you didn't surprise them with it.
They were. No, they were. They are.
Okay.
They were. We did this together. It was a completely vegan Thanksgiving, and it was all right. I mean, I'm still definitely searching for. No. I paused because I'm still searching for the best vegan mac and cheese recipe for me.
No such thing.
Emphasis. Can you wait? Because I said for me. Goodness gracious. Because I knew you would say something like that. But anyway, she's out there, and I can't wait. Can't
You ain't
wait.
gonna find. There's certain things that God did not ordain to
Or
be vegan,
me.
and even for you, there's certain things that God did not ordain to be vegan, and mac and cheese is one of them. Like I'll take, there's a lot of things I will take the veganness of. You know, what I mean, I'll take. I mean, I won't eat it, but I'm okay with it. They have all these other different vegan options and stuff. There are three things I'm not okay vegan at all. Mac and cheese, cause it's mac and cheese. But then again, I'm no longer okay with boxed mac and cheese, so I'm bougie now with my mac and cheese, and it is my wife's fault because her mac and cheese is ridiculously good. Oh my god!
I'm sure.
Anyway, then vegan burgers. I hate every aspect of the thought of a vegan burger, mostly because they choose to call it a vegan burger. It is not a burger if it's vegan. A burger is just a burger. Okay? Not ham. I'm sorry, not turkey. Not any of these. Not tofu. None of these other things that people be trying to put and say it's a burger. No.
Oh, you don't consider turkey as a burger?
No.
But the burger is the shape.
No, the burger's what's made out of.
The burger's the shape.
Because see, I'm old enough to remember when Wendy's used to make burgers in the square as opposed to round like they do now.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so the burger is not the shape.
God.
The burger is what the burger is. What it came out of. What animal was sacrificed that I might live. Hallelujah. So anything vegan burger can't do it. And anything that's trying to be a substitute for chicken.
Oh.
Don't
you know
it.
what I'm surprised you didn't say?
What's that?
Cheesecake. I'm surprised you didn't say cheesecake. Because you love the strawberry cheesecake, right?
I love two types of strawberry cheesecake, which is why I didn't do it. I like Sara Lee's strawberry cheesecake and my wife's strawberry cheesecake. That's it. So like anybody else trying to make cheesecake, I'm probably not going to like yours. I mean, it won't be awful. I'll eat it, but I'm probably not going to like it because it's not Sara Lee's and it's not Philanda's. So,
Got you. Understood. Understood. He's like, because I don't like the vast majority of cheesecakes, they're not even in the conversation.
Absolutely. See, you know me. In case y'all can't tell, we are actually friends outside of the camera and whatnot. We know each other. We've talked and everything. So we kind of have a rapport. So that's why I'm hoping it's going to be, and I'm saying it's going to be the best interview we have ever done here at the Real Talk Podcast interview. All right. So let's get ready to do this sit down with Lex the Visionary. We're going to jump right in. I'm not even going to softball it. I got a few soft type questions. They come intermixed, but we just going to jump right into a fastball coming right down the middle. Who is Lex the Visionary?
Oh my gosh. It's my least favorite question. Just because I don't like, what's the word? Just overarching questions, just because it makes my brain just like, psh, like where do I go? But Lex the Visionary is a creative in more ways than one, with major focuses in certain ones. I've been a creative human my whole life, and I feel like God gifted me to be adept to creativity easier than others would in some aspects. I am someone who is just very passionate about art in general. It just makes me really excited. Like I will leave a friend, a group if I see something cool. And I don't care who you are, I'm leaving. The amount of times when people said, "Where's Lex?" If you're not coming with me, I'm leaving. I'm gonna see you in a second. I always come back. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm also very have a sensitive heart that I've been accepting more and more. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just very ambitious as well. And I care about, I'm at a place in my life where like Lex the Visionary now is just like really accepting her journey and just whatever that may look like. And you still even have moments I'm just like, it's supposed to look like this. Then I get laughed at every time. So, yeah. That's it.
All righty. I love it.
Oh.
So, go ahead.
And you said, because I appreciate the intro. I just cussed at you. I almost did again. But anyway, but music artist. You said I was a music artist. You said singer-songwriter. That does include the rapping portion as well. I don't consider myself a rapper. Like, throw me into a freestyle battle type of situation.
Because I was getting ready to ask you for like a hot 8. I was getting ready to do it.
No, it would definitely be something that's pre-written. Don't even get twisted. I would love to build that skill, though. I would love to build that skill. But yes. But anyway, we can continue.
I love it. This is going exactly the way I wanted to from jump. I love it. So there's actually a reason why I used your full government name. Even though I know oftentimes you hate it, even though it is on your Facebook, but that's okay.
People on my Facebook don't be paying attention to my artistry barely, so I don't even care about.
Oh, we get ready to change that. We're gonna do our best to absolutely change that. But the reason that I asked that is because I want to be able to have a framework to ask this question. Lex the Visionary, where did that name come from?
Well, that name is like 10 years in the making. Actually, it's kind of scary. So where'd that come from? I've had such a bout of what my name was going to be. When I started to be on social media, when I added myself to the Facebook and Instagram world of things, I had so many names that I went through. The name that I had before Lex the Visionary was just my name, Lex. It was just Lex. And I wanted it to be that way because I was always uncomfortable with the idea of becoming a different person as an artist. I always wanted to just still be me, but just be showing this subsector of me as the whole person, So I wanted it to just be Lex, and at first it was just LEX, and then to create some distinction, I made it all caps, and I would actually introduce myself. I was like, "Hey guys, my name is Lex, but in all caps." Da 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 da. Just so they knew. Looking back, I'm just like, girl. But I wanted to be Lex, like Drake is Drake and Sid is Sid and like all that, So I believed that I could. And then right when I was about to put out my EP last year, my team kind of just put me between a rock and a hard place because they said, hey, we found an artist whose name is Lex on Spotify. And mind you, before this, I've seen so many Lexes on the platforms. Like there are so many. So prior to this, you would have to, in order to find my song, you would have to type in, Effort. That's one of my popular songs at the time, Effort, and then put Lex. You couldn't just put Lex and find me off rip. So, but right before I put out my EP, they were telling me, hey, we found this one artist named Lex and they have 300,000 listeners and he lives in Asia. And I said, damn. I said, what? And they said, hey, this is what you can do. Like, we support you either way, but if you just stick it to, if it's just going to be Lex, like you're probably going to have to climb a little bit higher of a road to get some distinction because there's this person already doing this. And I said, no. So it really put me in my feelings because I thought something was being taken away from me. I'm like I know a lot of people have this name in general as a nickname or what have you, but as an artist, I was just so mad. But I decided to do it. I decided to do Lex the Visionary. That's actually an email address that I've had for a long time. Well, no, let's not go to the email address yet. let's actually go to a year even before the project came out. So in 2022, I was involved in like kind of like this business program situation that turned out foul. But along the way, I had my mentor at the time who was kind of challenging me to create kind of like this entity to put all of my creativity and things under in things. And so um, I really couldn't tell you what made me switch it to Lex the Visionary specifically, but I guess at the time the name just felt like it could house more than just the music aspect of me. And I could be wrong right now because that was 2 years ago. But that's what I feel. That's what I feel like my mindset was. Like, what's the funny thing about me is like I'm really intentional about things. And then maybe like years later or even like days later, I'll be like, Lex, why didn't you do this? And then I'll look back to try to find the solution. It's because, oh, I realized I couldn't because of this and that. So keep it the way it is. Because that happens to me all the time. Like, oh, I was smart. And now I'm trying to go backwards on my smartness. Okay, let me not do that. So, yeah, so Lex the Visionary. And then what was really so just like sent chills through me was I have had this Gmail called that's Lex.Visionary that you sent this link to, Lex.Visionary, since 2013. I forgot why I even came up with the name, but I made that my Gmail years ago. At the time I was still in college. I was like a sophomore. And even then I still hadn't made a song yet. I was still afraid to perform. I barely performed because the nerves were that bad. But yeah, so after 10 years, I finally assumed the name Lex The Visionary because of my EP release. And so I look back at that, and last year I was also just noticing just seeing certain numbers a lot and just seeing a lot of repetitive signs. That's how God talks to me a lot of the times, is through repetitiveness. And so I see that as it took me essentially 10 years to come into this person, this entity, this side to me that I basically prophesied in 2013 through an email.
All right, Prophet. I love it.
Yeah.
I saw those eyes. So, you were originally from Mitchfield, Maryland, correct?
No, so kind of. So I grew up in Upper Marlboro.
Okay.
And then we moved to Mitchellville, Bowie. It's like one and the same. So yeah.
Okay. So what was life like growing up there?
Oh, it was pretty normal suburb life. There wasn't really much going on. At least that I can remember. I grew up in a 2-parent household, thankfully, with 3 younger siblings, and I played sports and I was in dance ministry, and that's what my parents did. I'm the firstborn, so I think that being the firstborn, they were really motivated to just like put me in everything, and that's what I like to do anyway. So I was in sports, choir, dance, drama ministry. I was homeschooled for 8 years before going to high school, and yeah, it was a very active. It was an active childhood, a loving childhood, right next to DC. So a lot of the times when I say DMV, or not even DMV, but when I say up north or Maryland, they say DC automatically. And I know the history of people migrating from DC to PG County, but I always feel like I fully can't claim being from DC because I really didn't grow up there, even though it was right next door to me. And I really didn't truly get to explore it more until I was in college, just because I don't know, I think it was I think my mom didn't want me to go there too much when growing up. And then so when I finally got the freedom, like I did it sometimes, but not as much as I would have wanted now looking back. So yeah, that's how it was growing up.
I love it. I love it. So a plethora of things.
So many things, yeah.
Which is for if anybody knows Lex, you know that statement fits her to the T.
It does.
For real.
It does.
She enjoys a plethora of things. She is a plethora of things. And I love it. I love it. But so out of all the plethora that is this
plethora? You mean plethora?
Listen, I'm from the Berg. That's how we say it out there. We put emphasis on, we put the different emphasis on different syllables, however we choose. You know, that's what we do.
I'm crying. Y'all are trolls. You're a troll. Such a troll.
But out of all the things that you do and enjoy doing and are so gifted at doing, because you were gifted at a lot of things, what actually was the thing that got you into singing? And when did you first know, shoot, I can sing for real? Because a lot of people enjoy music, enjoy singing, but not everybody's like, you know what? I can pursue this and actually, I really think I can do this. And other
like
people say,
it.
hey, she can sing. So when was that like moment of, hey, this is something I like and I'm really good at it?
So, okay, something that I like, and then I'm really good at it. Ooh, I've never been asked that before, the really good at it part.
I try to be different. I try.
Well, do I have to answer these in order?
However you feel, however it flows.
I didn't feel like I could sing well until these past 2 years, to be honest. Yeah. I didn't. It took a long time for me to be confident in all that my voice is. I had to learn it more. I had to overcome nervousness and shyness about it. So those things definitely fed into me feeling not confident about it. Because and it's not that I didn't feel like I couldn't sing before. It's just, it was never consistently good. Mm-hmm. Like the nerves would always interrupt my ability to stay on pitch or to have the right breath work and things like that. So that would always get in the way, I feel like, of really exuding all that it could be. So I struggled with that for a really long time. So yeah, past 2 years. Still was going after music, still did songs, but yeah, the confidence didn't start to hit till then. And then I realized that like to sing or like music?
Like to sing.
Like to sing. I think I realized I like to sing when, oh my gosh, like back in 2004 or 2003. So I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Why'd you do that to me? One of my next questions already states that I'm old, but God dog, that just hurt. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 8 or 9, because I loved. Oh my gosh, I miss when music was such like a spectacle in terms of the music videos and TRL and 106 and like such a golden era of consuming music. And I remember sneaking to watch music videos in the basement because I remember when I first discovered Chris Brown and I was watching the girls do their thing. They were wearing mid-strips and everything. And I was like, my mom wouldn't like this, but I don't care. Run it, girl, I need it, run it. But no, I would listen, growing up, I would listen to Destiny's Child all the time. I loved Destiny's Child. Destiny Fulfilled. Oh my gosh. And I would listen to JoJo. I loved JoJo and her songs as a teen. Anytime they would come on TRL, whatever, the music video channel, I would stop and watch them like, yes. Like I've always seen this like 10 times, but I need to see this 10 more times because I love it so much. So I'd always emulate JoJo and Destiny's Child. And I would try to sound like them. And my undeveloped 8-year-old, 9-year-old self would be mad when I couldn't hit this and up there. And I remember being in the car one time, and I think I sang a little bit. I was never outward about singing too much until I got much older. But I think I sang a little thing, and my mom was next to me, and I was like, did I just sound like Beyonce? And I think she told me, yeah. And so it was around that time that I knew that I liked to do it.
So you mentioned earlier this is what we in the business call a follow up. I'm trying to be real professional.
Right. God, help me.
You mentioned how it wasn't until the last 2 years that you really started to realize that you really can sing, because when you would get up, you felt like the nerves were overtaking you. Mm-hmm. How, for people who do struggle with that, because there's a lot of people who struggle with nerves in various areas or what have you, how did you get past it? What were some of the things you did to help get you over that hump from nerves now blocking to, I still probably have nerves, but I'm not going to let the nerves stop me and affect how I present what I'm presenting?
Right. So leading up to me finally doing the things that I needed to do to overcome it, I would literally have random people, strangers tell me, like, you sound like you can sing. Like, I wouldn't sing at all, but based off of my voice or whatever, like, you sound like you can sing. Like, it would be my Uber driver. It would be a host at an event. Like, maybe I was supporting another friend who was singing, but I was too shy to do it. So I would just be there, because not only just to support them, but to also, that's the environment that I wanted to be in. Like, I did it to, like, just kind of dream of being able to do what my friend was doing that was so hard for me to do at the time. So first and foremost, it was just getting multiple signs of just, you can do this. You're actually great. And so I was like, okay. And then I think after that, also realizing, just ultimately knowing, okay, if I'm really going to do this artist thing, like, I have to perform. I have to go on stage. I don't want to just be a songwriter. I want to tour. I have all these visions for myself as an artist, and it's also a viable stream of income. So I said, it doesn't make sense for you to just constantly be in the shadows. And so I had to decide for myself that I was going to push through all, I guess, of the disappointment that I experienced of myself. Like, I had to be willing to think I did bad, cry about it, because it was so bad, cry about it, and then do it again. And it took me years to be willing to do that. Then after that, it was really just about performing in very loving and welcoming, safe environments. I was able to find a gem of an open mic called The Undergrind. When I was thinking about, right before I started getting into performing again, I had someone call me up because she knew that I sang, and she was like, hey, like, the company I work for, they're starting to put on these open mics. And then she gave the phone over to one of the organizers, and like, he was so excited about it. And he has this thing about his voice. I don't know. It's very like, it made me really believe that this was like really cool. Like, that was going to be great. Mm-hmm. So then I went a couple weeks later, and it was unlike any open mic that I'd been to, because like, what am I trying to say? Because when I walked into the door, mind you, on the way there, I drank wine because I was that nervous. Like, I drank wine on the way there to like try to keep the nerves down. But I got there so early that by the time I performed, the wine wore off. So I said, girl, you told me to come here at 6:30. People don't come be here till 8. So, okay, I'm gonna come here at 8 next time. But when I came in, the host, or the DJ at the time, not the host, his name is Julian Virgin. He was like, hey, do you mind if I interview you? And I was like, what? I was like, why would you want to interview me? Like, I didn't do anything. And also, I just didn't see myself that highly as a performer. But I just let him do it anyway. And he asked me some great questions. He seemed really engaged. And I was just like, oh, wow, like this makes me feel good. And so I just kept going to that place. I just kept going because everybody was just, I never felt judged. I never felt pressured. It was all love every single time. And so that place became my home until I really felt confident enough to branch out into places that maybe had a dead crowd or didn't feel like family or whatever, where I would have to exercise new muscles as a performer. But that's what I did. And I also just made sure I got myself into vocal coaching. So my vocal coach at the time challenged me to perform. And so I felt support from that. Also, Philanda came to a couple things. And so just surrounding myself with people who I know wouldn't judge me, make fun of me. I also got to witness just performers mess up and get back up and not even think twice about it, which I was not used to seeing, which I had to see. So yeah, that's what led to me finally getting over it. And what's so interesting is that something that took me for 4 years, because I wasn't performing for 4 years because of a bad experience. So when I finally got back up there, it took 6 months to really like get over the bulk of it. Only 6. And you know what it reminded me of?
What's that?
The Israelites taking 40 years when they could have took it 2 weeks, my nigga.
Hey, sometimes you just got to keep going around that mountain until you get sick of going around it.
My gosh, yes. But yeah,
So here's my old question. And it's only old because I say I'm old. So I am old. Mm-hmm. And to me, being a product of the 90s, born in the 80s, there's a difference between being a singer and being an artist. Based on how you perceive those words, which would you more consider yourself?
An artist. An artist.
Why
for
is
sure.
that?
So it's funny you mentioned that, just because I saw a post by Troy Taylor, who I love, just as an artist development coach for a lot of artists, most in Trey Songz' career. And I wish I knew verbatim what it was, but an artist is a whole package and a vision. And an artist to me, like a singer, you can be a great singer, mm-hmm. right? You can sing down. You can have all the tricks. But I feel like an artist is somebody who really wants to make like a cultural impact. Mm-hmm. And they think about more things other than just their voice. Like they think about a cultural impact. They think about how they look. They think about the story they tell with their music. They write, they're more involved in just the whole producing of the entire product that is the music, because there's so many sides to it that make it an entire brand. An artist is a brand. So to me, that's the difference. And I definitely identify as an artist.
Good stuff. So yeah. I've also heard you refer to yourself, even as we talk today, as a creative.
Yes.
For you, what does that mean?
I call myself a creative as well, just because my background in producing art, like I haven't just produced music. Like I've done videography and photography, and I know how to draw and in different forms, and I can edit really well, and I can paint. Like I can do all these things that I'm grateful for, that I've either self-taught or have been taught on a higher learning level in college. So that's why I consider myself a creative. And for me too, I'm just very hands-on with I've been very hands-on with the creativity of the visuals of the things that I put out thus far, from photos to graphics to videos. And so because of that, and because I know how to do that stuff and well, that's why I put myself in that category. And also because I care too. When I had my first internship here in Atlanta back in 2017, I remember being there and seeing the artists that were signed to Ray Daniels just be in the studio all day and just be really writing. And that's definitely a part of it, but there was so much of me that thought to myself, I don't just want to do that. It just doesn't seem like enough for me. And at the time I didn't know how, but I just felt like my life was going to be more than just making music and songwriting and even performing when I got to that point. So, and at that time, I was making visuals and stuff. And so I said, okay, the way I make visuals and stuff, it's going to come into play. I'm going to be more than just the music thing. I just know it. So that's why I call myself a creative.
Okay. So now let's talk about the show, the soon-to-be hit show, Friends.
Oh, Songs with Friends. Friends is the song. Songs with Friends is the show.
You might have to remind me that a couple times, only because as I'm reading, I only put Friends because I don't know, and I'm looking at something that says "Song with Friends" right now on my right hand side, and yet and still, Friend, and probably because the EP. And Friends becomes that's what's ringing in my head. So I apologize. Songs with Friends. Let's talk about the show Songs with Friends. Mm-hmm. It is now available on YouTube. The first episode is available now on Lex The Visionary's YouTube channel, which she's going to talk up. Which I'm going to give her the opportunity to make sure she touts out, so you all can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And probably by the time this interview drops, the second one will be available as well. So first, before we can get conceptually. Or deal with the show conceptually, let's first talk about the name Song with Friends.
Yes.
Where does the name come from?
Yes.
Why that name for the show? And in particular, Friends, why that spelling? What does that mean?
Yes. So spelling. The spelling that you are referring to is spelling Friends as Frands. Mm-hmm. So Friends, like we just cleared up just now, Friends is actually a song off of my EP Lotus. And the reason that it's spelled that way in particular is because when I think about the people I consider my friends who really show up for me in the way that I show up for them, and it's a mutual relationship, I get really excited. And I'll just be like, those are my friends. So it's not just this regular, oh, that's my friend. No, that's my friends, like that. And so I just wanted to emphasize just how I feel like the word that truly encapsulates just how I would say it and how I feel when I think about really good people in my life. Because I get really grateful and excited and just filled with enthusiasm about it. Songs with Friends. Songs with Friends. How did I come up with the name? Oh my God. So, okay. April of this year, I was hanging out with a friend of mine. He goes by Trey, ATL Trey. He's a filmmaker and also an artist himself, and very talented. And we were chopping it up. And I was telling him just how I was in a place where I finally felt like I needed to start putting out consistent content, but I didn't really know how. And also he knew me as this can do everything type of person. I told him, I'm so good at so many things, but I feel like it's working against me. And he encouraged me to find my niche, to just really focus on one thing content-wise to then build a fan base off of, and then that would allow me to expand. And I was just I was resistant, but I was like, you're right. And so I I don't feel like I properly promoted my EP after I put it out. I tried, and the thing that I did wrong was I tried to promote everything at once. Instead of just one song, even though I got advice not to. And I guess it just didn't click at the time. Like with a lot of things, sometimes you just really don't get it till you fail. So I get it now, but I thought, and some people were asking me like, are you creating? Are you making new music? When are you going to drop new music? And I was just thinking to myself like, y'all, drop new music. I barely promoted this one. Like people barely know about this. And the advice that I got when it came to promoting a project or a song was to spend the next 9 to 16 months like promoting. So I'm just like, y'all worrying about me dropping, but a marketing professional told me to love it down, and to never get sick of it and to keep pushing it. And I didn't do it right. It's okay. There's going to be more music, but creating this show served two purposes. It served to promote my song, Friends. That wasn't even the first priority. First priority was for me to make something that I really liked making and that I would be really excited to put out. Because I didn't want putting out content to feel like a job. It was feeling like that a lot. And I put a lot of passion and work and time into the things that I do. And when it's not met with enough exposure, it gets frustrating. So I did that. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to put out something that's going to be really good. And I'll weave my music into it because I am an artist. And yeah, we'll make it Friends. And then, dang, you know what? Pastor Jesse, I really could not tell you why songs with Friends was the thing. But, wait a minute. So funny.
I love it.
So a year prior or a few months prior, I was talking to a producer friend of mine, a songwriter friend of mine who helped me on my project. And I was pitching this idea. I was like, hey, I really want to make a show where, because I'm trying to have fun, but I'm also trying to make business moves. And so I said, I really want to do a show where I invite people to come on and we write songs that we can pitch to music supervisors and get sync placements. And then it was met back with like certain questions that he asked me, which are valid questions of like the how and all this stuff, but it wasn't, I don't know. Sometimes you need people in your life who are just going to be like, okay, let's go. I'm just here to help you versus giving you all these questions and concerns. Because I'm onto something, but I don't know. I wasn't hearing it. I wasn't hearing it because I was just like, this feels like you're overthinking. I'm already the overthinker. We can't have two overthinkers in this operation. I'm not excited anymore. So, but I still wanted to do it. And I've always wanted to create a show. I really have. I've always wanted to create a show. At first, when I really considered it really more, I think it was in 2020 or 2021. And at first I really wanted it to be a show centered around artist education, just because I'd be going to rabbit holes myself trying to figure out this music stuff, and it almost feels like, it's not almost necessarily, but I think true, like to find the ultimate answer to make this happen doesn't exist. And I feel like the people who do know make it harder to truly know sometimes. And so we're just constantly trying to find the answer and just going in a rabbit hole of information, which is frustrating. So I wanted to create a show where it kind of just cut to the chase and just helped artists to learn the business side of being successful. Didn't know when I was going to do that, but fast forward to now, I was in a different place, now being 2024, got to a different place where I was just like, okay, no, I want to make something that's going to be fun right now. And I still wanted to write songs just because songwriting really grounded me in continuing to go through this whole process of becoming an artist, because I actually enjoyed it, and it didn't make me nervous. It just really helped me until I got more comfortable performing. So I think that's where the name ultimately Songs with Friends came from. Did I answer both your questions?
Yeah, yes, you did.
Okay. I'd be like, don't lose it. I feel like I was losing it.
It's all right. It's all right. Like I told you off air, I'm gonna let the guests talk. Say whatever you feel you need to say, even if you answer the question and go off to something else. This whole purpose of this particular interview is about you. So you're the subject. Wherever you want to drive this car, you drive. I'm the passenger.
Yeah.
I'm just the passenger with the old school map and say, hey, I think we're supposed to turn here. And you're like, no, I'm driving. We're gonna go turn here. Cool, we turn here. I'm with you. Wherever we go.
No, what would be frustrating me is when the brain is moving faster than the mouth, and though I try to say something and then it sounds mushed together, and then I got to start over. That happens a lot. I feel like it's partially because of my mom. The conversation.
You can't throw your mom under the bus like that.
No, because so she doesn't talk like how I do, but she can tend to not enunciate as well with her words sometimes. Like, she's well spoken, but sometimes it's like enunciated mush. And so she gave that to me. And so then when I sense that I'm speaking enunciated mush, I have to stop and then start over. And then I'm just like, damn, I was really trying to make this clear.
I love the phrase. I'm stealing it. And I promise you, before
That's
this year's
is.
out, it's going to be used in a message at some point. Enunciated mush is going. It's going to be a thing.
I do it in some of the episodes on the show, and I'm like, damn. But hey, it's there. I'm not editing it out. It's not that deep. They're gonna be confused. I don't care.
They'll catch on the train. They'll catch on.
Man.
So how did the concept for the show come about in terms of to do it the way it's being done now? And for those who don't know, which I don't know why they wouldn't, because you must have been under a rock, what is the show about?
Song's about, I said the song, see? The show is about creating songs with friends. And these friends are specifically artists, music professionals, and vocalists, musicians, producers, anything that's considered in the music industry world. I invite on to create a song by the end of the episode. I interview them in between, and not only just me interviewing them, we also have conversation, because I like natural, free flowing conversation. But yeah, that's the simple answer. But the way it came about the concept was, again, I wanted to have fun. And I thought about the times when I was, or like earlier in this journey, where I probably felt the most alive when it came to music. And I felt the most alive or the most enthusiastic when I wrote a song that I really liked. Like, I love listening to a song that I really love that I made over and over and over again. Not the best practice in the beginning, which I'm learning through the greats, but can't deny that it's a good feeling. And also, I first felt like I belonged, or I first felt like I belonged because I grew up feeling or being outcasted a lot. I first felt like I belonged when I was singing amongst a group of other fellow artists back home. And it was all a group of guys, rappers, musicians, producers, named 20 Never. And it was when I was 18, and they were just randomly freestyling. And for the first time, I feel like in my life, I felt comfortable enough to like try to do something with them, because I just felt pulled to do it. And that was a constant, like, no matter what, whether I could be painstakingly scared, but I always wanted to like be able to do what they could do, like, freely. And they, meaning not just them, but just any artist that I saw performing, whether it was on my campus or artists that I look up to in the industry who have had super successful careers. Like I've just longed to just be able to express and perform in the way that they could. So I just started singing with them, like freestyle singing, and I was just like, wow, I really like this. And so that's where the whole concept of the show came from. Like I wanted to make sure I was creating something that I would enjoy as well, and that would basically rooted me in this whole thing. And yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna play this clip from the first episode. It's one that you posted. I'm not gonna put anything else that hasn't been shot out because I don't like spoilers. But I have a question behind it. But I felt like context is king. Plus, like I said, I'm trying to get on my professional bag with this because I love doing this type of stuff. So we're gonna play this clip.
Oh, this is fun. Oh my God. Yep.
I remember it was 2022. Tears, bawling, snot, all of it. I was getting over somebody hurt my feelings. And I got home late that night because I was coming from Peter Street. I was coming from Peter Street with a friend of mine. And I wrote at like 2 a.m. And that's how I wrote my song Uncaged off of my first EP. That whole rap portion, because I was a little stuck, but I literally wrote the entire rap like that night. Wild cry.
Wow, snot nose.
Snot nose. I remember it was 2022.
So, can you elaborate on the process of pouring out your emotions from your pen and what that takes?
The process of pouring out my emotions through a pen. It's just, I don't know, when I think back to that moment when that happened, I just thought to myself, if I'm able enough to seize the moment, because this right here, what I feel right now is exactly how the song, the instrumentation of the song and what we had laid down so far is exactly how it felt. Like they were meant to be together. Mm-hmm. Right. So I had, like I said in the clip, I'd cried a lot. Like, to give you perspective, I drove to Peter Street Station, and then when we left, my friend drove back because I was having a breakdown in the car. And so yeah, it dropped me off back in my place, and then I was just up, just like really just going through the emotions. And it was during that time as well where I was learning how to truly experience these emotions and embrace them versus push them away, because I've always wanted to be seemingly okay or be at peace or whatever have you, to not cause a ruckus or to not be perceived as angry or too much or a problem, as many women feel, especially Black women feel. So this was me in the privacy of my home, just really letting all of that out. And I guess in the moment, I just felt the opportunity, and I just did it, because I'd been trying to write to that song before. But nothing was really just coming naturally. And so I guess I got a little nudge inwardly, like, hey, now's the time. And so, yeah, I just let it happen. And I'm so glad I did. That shit was good.
I'm glad you said it was good, because that brings me actually to a whole other question kind of adjacent with it. How often in present day now, how often do you allow yourself to be that kind of vulnerable, and for that vulnerability, like that which was shown in that song, to be expressed through any kind of creative work that you're doing? Not just necessarily your writing or your singing or performing, but any aspect of the creative side of Lex the Visionary.
I feel like I'm vulnerable about my feelings now, or I'll be more real and say certain things and be less filtered. But in terms of like showing the actual emotion, I don't necessarily feel like the things that I've made require, I think it has to require it. Because outside of the music, like with the show, it's like produced video content that I usually think about a lot, just because I feel like I always want to do things at a high level. So I just make sure it's produced because I have a vision for it and an intention, and I want it to be done the way that I see, hence Lex the Visionary. So I think the only way that makes most sense for me right now to be able to pour that out is through music. But then also, funny enough, this might change actually. I decided today to start doing TikTok differently than I was.
Ooh, do tell.
And yeah, because I would repurpose a lot of content. I would make original content, but say for instance that clip that you just played not too long ago, I would put that on all of my platforms, right? Just so whoever was on that platform had a chance to see it. And I just thought to myself, like, TikTok is not really for that. It can be, but TikTok is a platform where it's not produced. It's very like everyday person, or it's just with the camera. Gen Z, and I'm thinking about market and audience, so this is the business side of things, like Gen Z are really attracted to seeing things stripped down. And I'm also a sucker for BTS. Like I've always loved BTS stuff. Like that's my thing. So I decided to
What's BTS? I'm old.
behind the scenes
Okay, thank you.
content. Yeah. Just really showing the ins and outs of something and how it's made and a person and their story like that. So I decided literally today, because I was up last night or a couple of nights ago, like feeling like I had to change things up and switch things up. So now I'm literally just going to use my TikTok to show what I'm truly going through as an indie artist on the way there. And not put too much thought into it and really just see what happens. And not just thinking from a business perspective, but I'm also trying to now, like, when I put out content, I've been monitoring my heart more too on just what I want this to do. Like, yes, I want this stuff to be seen by a lot of people and for the numbers to be there just because that's pressured anyway. But like, I do want it to impact people and help someone through something. Like, if the fact that I'm literally an artist right now, and this is a real moment, like I'm an artist right now, and this is my ultimate dream, but I need to find a new job right now, and I'm on that hunt because of life circumstances, like that's a real thing. And I could help someone just like not feel like they're in it alone, or just truly understand, like, before maybe prominent indie artists right now, like La Russell or whoever, I just learned about him a couple days ago, and he's one of those indie artists who's doing it big on his level. From a business standpoint and from a sustainability standpoint. But like, there's a before, there are moments in between. And I just don't want to be as, I guess, coveting of those moments. Everybody's not going to know my business. But I also do think it's a part of who I am. Like, I want to be able to give people the real about what this is really looking like sometimes. Because I'm an honest person too, and I don't like filter and cookie cutter stuff. I can present a certain thing, but I don't know. I just feel like it's time to change. So
I definitely get it. It kind of rings with, or that rings true, but kind of parallels with a statement I make quite frequently to people. To me, Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player to ever play the game. I don't care who y'all think it is. It's still Mike. Nobody has ever had a greater overall impact on the game besides Mike. It's not just about the 6 rings and 6 MVPs, undefeated in finals, never has lost a championship game. It's not about that. It's simply about the fact that his impact is so long lasting, right? But what I say to people is everybody wants to be Michael Jordan. If you follow basketball, you're always hearing who's the next Michael Jordan, who's the next Michael Jordan, who's the next Michael Jordan. Everybody wants that notoriety of him, but not many people either want or know of the process to becoming Michael Jordan. Like, because that knowing that helps you see if you're even willing to go through that. Are you willing to be up at 3:30 in the morning and shoot 5,000 free throws before the team even gets there? And you put yourself in a position where you say, I'm gonna shoot these 5,000, but I have to make no less than 4,500 before I'm satisfied. Be the first person in the gym, last person to leave. Like, are you willing to do those kinds of things, right? And what you're talking about in terms of being that stripped down on TikTok and saying, hey, there is some in-between stuff. Yes, this is still my goal. This is still my vision. This is still what I want. But there are these things that happen in between you may not be aware of, or you may be going through and thinking that you're doing it wrong because you're going through this. You're not alone. I'm going through it too. And here's what it is, and here's how I'm processing it. Those things are golden. People need, and especially in this day and age, they need that feeling of I'm not by myself.
It's quintessential.
I love that word. I was going to say something completely different, and you hit me with the word. It just I am a sucker for a good use of great words.
Yes, you are.
It is not every day you hear somebody drop quintessential. That is a chef's kiss. That is excellent.
Yes.
So I'm gonna play this clip because quintessential made me forget exactly where I was going, what my next state was going to be. Wasn't even important. Quintessential was more important. So
Got it.
Here's my next one. Now I'm gonna play another clip for it because I like context.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, I told him I'm trying to be in my bag. I'm trying to do my thing.
Can't necessarily pick to feel inspired, and I'm learning that as well. You can be in a routine and like be knocking songs out like it's a job, but like to have those moments of like inspiration and feel like, damn, like I got some creativity out today that feels like internal. That really is a gift, and I'm learning to be more patient with that, and then just when it is time to allow it to be, and when it's not, it's not. So to just be accepting of that.
So here's my question with that, and I'm asking it the same way, three different levels. Okay. I'm gonna give you all three of them at once. So I'm hoping I can get the 3 different levels of answers, because I feel like, and this is just me, I feel like they could possibly be 3 separate answers that may help people understand and see some things. So, as a singer/artist, what inspires you? As a writer, what inspires you? As a creative, what inspires you? And where do you find that inspiration?
Singer, writer, creative. What inspired me as a singer? Other singers. It's really that simple as a singer. I really started to study singers more in 2020 when I discovered Terrell Grice on not Instagram, YouTube. He's actually a big YouTuber who I modeled just my show after a little bit. Not subconsciously, because I love the show so much, and he does his on a high level, and it involves music as well. So I whenever I just hear just like great vocals, it just really challenges me to just remember that there's always something to learn about your voice and to get better at with your voice and to just exercise with it. Because I used to be so, and I still am, influenced by the rap genre and hip hop a lot.
I hope that'll go into the next answer. Okay, but so to finally be inspired by singers now is it feels really special. So yeah, I'm inspired by singers. You said it, and in what way? Did I answer that part?
Not in what way, but where do you find that inspiration?
Where I find it? I just find it through just through listening to music and watching them perform. Like if something just stands out to me, I'm just like, whoa, and then I try to do it. And then sometimes I decide to myself, like, either this is for me or this is not. Because everybody's voice has the certain things they can do. And I was actually talking to someone about this the other day, how he was saying how he loves Victoria Monet so much just because she knows her lane. And as an artist, you have to know your lane. Like, Victoria Monet is not an incredible vocalist. She can sing, but then she also has these other special things to her, from her dancing to her, I don't know, there's something about her too. Like I love watching her interviews and watching her speak and the dancing aspect. So there are a lot of the things that make her her, the way she crafts a song, you know? So even that, like I might hear something that, oh my gosh, one is something different, I don't know what Jasmine Sullivan sings, because Jasmine Sullivan is a beast. Money Long is a beast. So many beasts, but it's either my voice is not mature enough or I haven't trained it enough to do that, or I'm just not meant to do it. Mm-hmm. And I'm okay with that. There was this one TikTok challenge I came across the other day where they were singing, and I was just thinking, maybe I should hop on this. And then I tried to sing it and I said, nope, this is not for me. They can really do that. I cannot do that. At least not right now. And I don't care to. I'm not gonna force myself to be something that I'm not, or force my voice to be something that it's not. I care about knowing what she does, you know? So yeah, that's singing. What inspires my songwriting has been rap music and emotions, real-time emotions or real-time struggle. I keep forgetting the second part. Wait, what inspires and how do I find it?
Where do you find it from? Yes, ma'am.
I feel like that kind of answered both. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm just making sure I did it all. But yeah, I love wordplay from rapping. Like when I hear a great punchline or whatever, I get so excited and I'm just like, this is the best thing I've ever heard. Da, 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 da. And then when it comes to the life experience side, just being able to really take a moment and put it in my hands and like put it into paper right now makes songwriting in the song even better. I remember earlier this year, I tried to write a song and I was going two different directions. There were two real experiences that I had. One was not as fresh as the other, but I liked where I was going with it so much that I just wanted to keep going because I was just like, oh, this is starting so great. Like if I can really finish this, but it wasn't continuing to come naturally. And it's actually a collaborative song that I'm doing with a friend. We have to finish it. But I was telling him my two different directions and he was just like, just go with like truly like the now. And so it became a completely different song and one that I was able to finish. Yay. So we love that. And then what inspires my creativity? Other people's creativity, and then also saturation as well. When something is too saturated with, I don't want to do it because it doesn't stand out. Like that's why I say at the beginning of every show, this is not a podcast. This is Songs with Friends.
because we're in the podcast era. And I think that podcasts are great. I listen to so many. I know that you serve your audience with amazing things with yours as well, but I do think it is very saturated, and I wanted to break out of the era to make some distinction. And also too, because we're in that era, especially when you look at the video, it can come off as being a podcast as well. So I just wanted to make sure people knew that, hey, no, this is essentially a songwriting talk show in a sense. But even more than that. So yeah, I think I answered everything.
You did.
Okay. Ooh, that was long.
So this one, this question, I'm gonna be honest, I'm particularly proud of, because it comes from a space of me. Like all these other questions are questions that I kind of was like, okay, put your interviewer hat on. This is a guest. What kind of questions would I, as an interviewer, ask this type of guest? Okay, we got to cover the show, this, that, and the third, right? Cover background, all the type of stuff. But this one is more. It really springs from that clip. Because very few people know. Well, very few people care. I should say. I don't know if very few people know, but I'm a writer or former writer because I don't really write as often anymore, and this is a purposeful decision. He mentioned something. Ahmed mentioned that is his name, right?
Yes, Ahmed Kazmi. Yes.
Shout out to Ahmed because I loved his perspective on that. But he mentioned balancing, or he mentioned not balancing. He mentioned writing sometimes seeming like a job, and finding the inspiration behind the writing. When I was in my height of writing, I had times where I was inspired by something. Like when I get inspired, it's by anything. The breeze of the wind. Oh, that's in this.
Yeah.
And then there's sometimes I just feel this urgency to write. It's not inspired by anything. I don't even know what I'm gonna write when I put my pen down. It's just I feel like I gotta get something out, and I just start writing, right? And the few writers that I have known, kind of were more like, gotta get this out kind of writers. So my assumption now is almost that if all writers aren't like that, they have that kind of nature in them. How, especially based upon some of the things he was saying, how do you balance I'm writing because I need to write, for whatever reason you need to write it, and I'm writing because I feel inspired to write?
Oh, need versus inspired. Ooh, how do I balance it? This is a great question. Like need as in feeling like it feels like a job need, like deadline. Okay. To be honest with you, I don't have deadlines with my writing. I rarely do. So I really don't experience that much. The most recent time that happened was earlier this year when I was invited to be a part of a cipher. And it literally gave me like 2 days to write. And I said, what? Okay, girl. And I did it. But I think also just because I'm not on deadlines that much, like when one does come up, it's like, okay, whatever, Yeah, so honestly, I really write from more of an inspired place. And then people also don't put deadlines on me either. Like if an artist has reached out to me before, like, hey, could you hop on this with me or whatever? I'm the one, if anything, who will set the deadline between the two of us, or I'll be the one updating like, hey, got some ideas, But 9 times out of 10, I don't get deadlines. So I don't have to balance it. A lot of the times I'll need to get something out, or I'll just hear something while I'm walking or driving, then I'll voice memo it or voice note it in my phone. And then they just really sit there, and then I'll set my own internal timeline sometimes. So for instance, if I decide to do an Instagram duet challenge or open verse challenge just to do something fun, I ideally like to finish them in an hour, because typically they require like 8 to 16 bars, really 16. And so I've noticed that I can write a 16 in an hour. So that's always my goal. If it takes more than that, it's fine. But because I know I can do it, then I'll set that deadline for myself. So.
Okay. So out of all the works that you've done, all the musical works that you've done, because for y'all who don't know, she has a greater catalog than just Lotus, and I'm gonna talk about that a little bit. But you do.
I don't know if I want to say greater. I'll just let you continue.
and let's not act like you don't have stuff that you haven't put out yet, like stuff that's not that you even. I'm not even talking about stuff you're currently working on. I mean stuff that's in the past. It's like, you know what, this is. No, I'm just going.
Okay. I mean, can I be transparent with your audience?
Absolutely.
So I mean, aside from the project, I have 3 other songs out. And I have things started, like in terms of maybe some things that have been with production or not. But to be honest, I don't personally feel like I have a vast catalog, because when people, at least when I study professionals and things like that and understand like what a true catalog is, mine still has great potential for growth in terms of number.
Excuse me.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just like to be, because there's so much more that could be written, I feel like.
So this would be one of the only times during this interview I'm gonna have to push back just slightly. I understand what you're saying. At the same time, understanding how a creative mind works, I could absolutely understand why you sit on that stance, right? Mm-hmm. However, from a just strictly writers / consumers viewpoint, even those things that you have started that haven't been finished are still a part of the catalog, because if you chose to put any type of thought or effort into it, or not that you don't put any effort into it, but if you went back and put the effort into it, it wouldn't take long for this to be finished. It was stopped for whatever reason. Either it got interrupted with something better thought, something more inspiring, or it was just like, this is just not the time for it, and you just never came back to it, whatever. They're still there. Like, legitimately, and this comes from me knowing a little bit about you as a person as well, kind of strike me a little like a Tupac. In that, once Tupac passed, the vault of music that he had that no one had ever heard was insane. Like, not even just finished stuff, just stuff that you could hear him working on, and you knew it was about to be fire. So when I say catalog, that's what I mean by your catalog is way more vast than just what has been finished and presented to the public. There is a stockpile of at least 3 or 4 notebooks that have writings in them and pieces put together and stuff like that. That is, if it's anywhere near the quality of what I have personally heard from you and the project, it's I don't have words articulate enough to describe how good I believe it would be. So I really feel like you have a vast catalog. I really do.
I receive it.
So out of that vast catalog,
LOL.
which of the works that you have, do you feel has been most done, excuse me, let me rephrase that because of your previous answer. I'll say it this way. Which of your works out of your vast catalog do you feel has been the most inspired?
Has been the most inspired? What do you mean?
Like when you, the inspiration for X project, you've never felt or been this inspired
Oh,
to do the song.
this inspired to do the songs. Which one have I been most inspired to do? You said out of the stuff that's out or everything that I have?
Everything that you have, your entire catalog.
Most inspired to do. I have to get my phone. Excuse me.
Nothing wrong with that.
Excuse me, because most inspired, like which one has basically been the most exciting to make for me? Okay. The most exciting to make. This should have been in the prep email.
I do prep email for the most part. Like because I love the authenticness of hearing the question and oh crap, I'm gonna have to really think about this one. I'm a sucker for authentic reactions to stuff, for real raw authentic reactions. So this is wonderful for me. I don't care if this makes great podcast or great radio or not.
LOL.
It's wonderful.
Ooh. It's like I'm even looking at this full thing of like, because I have this entire like library of rough mixes of me and my artist friends.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much stuff. Yeah. Oh,
This is coming from the person who doesn't have a vast catalog.
I don't consider it that vast, but hey, to each their own. Ooh. You know what? Probably this song I did collaboratively with Idris French last year. That's definitely one of them. Just because he really gave me a lot of creative control in conceptualizing the song. And I'm really proud of what I was able to contribute to making it a whole thing. Because it's his song, I was just featured on it. So I think, actually a lot of the songs that I collaborated on with him, because we have a couple that we haven't put out. This is a good moment right now. This is a good moment. But for All on You in particular, I'm really proud of especially the hook, because it's not words. It's just a cadence of notes that I sing. And that's how the song starts. So it starts and then it has like some backing vocals underneath to give it a little bit of substance at certain parts. But the whole mindset, I just thought of another song that I did the other day. Okay, the whole mindset was, the concept of the song is two friends who have feelings for each other but don't want to admit it. We've heard this a lot, whether it's in movies or song, but I want to do it differently. And so I felt like I took a more creative approach on it, because the hook represents what it's like to stutter when you can't get the words out. So it's like,
I like that.
Like but melodically. And I'm just proud of that. And then of course, like the lyrics, as you listen to both of our parts, just support it. But I don't think a lot of people know that, just because it is a lot more nuanced. than what you may think. But I'm really proud of that. That was exciting to do. I had such a fun time putting this song together. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So got another clip. Let's go to the clip.
Oh my god! These clips.
This is the stuff you posted.
I know. This is what happens when I link it to my Facebook.
I was at this event called Black Writers Weekend, I would say a year and a half ago. And there was this amazing author there who I sat in for a talk, and somebody asked in the audience, like, when does she believe that, you know, her piece of work is done? Because I think for one, she did like, I want to say like 50 plus edits.
Oh, wow.
Like before it was done. But she said that over time that she realized that a certain piece of her work is done when she feels like the message is conveyed.
So I absolutely love that perspective. I truly do. That perspective resonates. But for you, how do you know when your message is conveyed from a particular work?
Honestly, right now, I feel like I'm still working to apply that lesson from that experience at Black Writers Weekend that I spoke of in the clip. Because right now, I still do it. I don't know. It's based off of how the song feels and also the wording. Like, as I'm writing something, if I'm writing to just get something out, like, I will mark certain words that I feel like could be better, and then I'll go back and adjust them. And then once I get to the right word to fit it, whether it's in meaning or even like in flow, then I'll be like, okay, we're good, and we can move on. So it really doesn't take a while for me. And also too, that goes back to just constantly where I'm at when it comes to writing. I don't have to deal with deadlines. I take my time. So it's not like I have a constant demand where I always have to assess that a lot, like often, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's really simple. It's just a matter of really understanding the word choice, and whether it was lazy. Sometimes word choice is lazy. And so I might want to make it more interesting or less said, but then also digestible. And then maybe sometimes I want you to think a little bit harder. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
Okay. So what do you feel is the toughest part about being a creative?
If it's your purpose and calling, just realizing that you need to keep doing it and to not put your worth and validation in the responses of people. I think that's the hardest part. Like, as someone who values putting out great things and not feeling like it gets recognized or seen or whatever have you, like, it can be frustrating to think that the people on the other side seeing this are even worth giving it to. Like, respectfully, because are you really going to appreciate it? Like, are you really like, and I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who is doing this art and music listening installation in Denver called The Listening Potty. And what's so funny is I tried to do it because I thought it was virtual at first. And then literally 10 minutes before I was about to tap in, he said, "Are you in Denver?" I said, "No." "What do you mean, am I in Denver? I'm in Atlanta. What's happening?" But he just talked about just how he wanted to bring back experiencing art in person again and making that a normal thing again when things are so just confined to the digital world. And I really love that, because as comfortable as I am and as much as I like to make digital content, there's nothing like really just being fully immersed in something. And I want to be able to do that in new levels, in new ways as an artist. So, forgot your question, but I think I answered it.
You kind of did. The question was, what do you feel is the toughest part about being a creative?
Oh yeah. So yeah, just constantly just training your mind to be like, this is what I'm supposed to do. And what no matter what response I get, if I feel led to create this thing and put it out and build it or say this thing, then that's just what it's supposed to be. And in due time, something will happen. So
yeah, you peasant. She doesn't care what you think.
cry.
Bow down.
Cry.
So you actually answered this question, but I'm gonna use the question and incorporate your answer into it, so I can, because it's a bridge type of question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So near the end of episode 1, and for those who haven't paid any kind of attention to this interview at all, I don't know how you haven't recognized that the bulk of this middle portion of this interview has been about the show itself, and these clips are from the actual show. So hopefully it also has motivated you to take a look at it if you haven't. However, near the end of episode 1, you and Ahmed, again, shouts out to Ahmed, y'all collaborate to create a partial song, which I freaking love.
Yay! We love it too.
Not just the song. I do love the song. But I mean the concept of it as well.
Oh, the concept.
Because it is so different. The closest thing, I shouldn't even say the closest thing, the only thing that I have seen that to me as a consumer of a lot of stuff that I consume, where I've been like, that is different and that could take off for real. Where the last time I've had something like that, it was when the guy who we're no longer supposed to mention his name because of baby oil, he reinvented, which nobody still has picked up on, but has reinvented how to do singing competitions. He had a show, and there's a humongous meme that's still people use all the time, is him and this guy in the fur coat with the hair staring at each other. If you hadn't seen the episode to understand why they're just staring at each other, hilarious. But the concept of the show was different. So most like American Idol, whatever, everybody's competing to be the number one. Mm-hmm. That's not how the show works. This show, what they have is I think it's 4 or 5 people sitting who these judges have already chosen as these are the best, and they bring on people who then compete to challenge someone they want to challenge of those 5 to take their spot. It is a beautifully crafted show, and it's not like it's just one genre. So there is hip hop against R&B against country. It's all genres, people doing their stuff. And there was this girl on there who was killing them with a flow. Oh my God, she was a monster. Yeah. But the show, me and my wife, I had been so sick of singing competition shows forever. But her and we was invested in this one. We was like, oh, this is going. I was so mad when I found out there wasn't going to be a season 2. It is that.
It was only one season.
Only one season. I don't know if it's because Baby Oil Guy didn't care about it. Let me see if I can find the name of it.
Because I'm like, what was this show? Because I watch certain singing competitions. I don't watch the American Idol Voice, the 4 stuff. But I will be catching Rhythm and Flow tomorrow. Okay.
It was called The 4, Battle for Stardom. The 4. It was DJ Khaled, Baby Oil, and I forget I can't see who. The
4 had multiple seasons.
No,
I thought it did. It didn't. Wait a minute.
Oh no, it had 2 seasons. I'm sorry, 2 seasons, which felt like one. 14 episodes. That's why I have 14 episodes, 2 seasons. Yep.
Okay.
It was Baby Oil, DJ Khaled, Megan Trainor, and Charlie Walk were the judges. It's just a great freaking show, and I had like this excitement about, because not only was it different, it was good different, right?
Yeah.
When I watch Song with Friends, and as a person who has been doing radio / podcast because I did a radio show for y'all who don't already know, did a radio show long before I was doing podcast, so I really do this thing. The presentation don't always look like it, but I really do this thing.
Do this. Don't get it twisted.
I looked at it like, okay, so she says it's not a podcast. This is like you said, like more like a talk show, but in podcast form. Okay, I can still dig it because I was digging the conversation. I love the edits. I love the visuals and how you did it. It was hot, but it was the moment that y'all two that you said, hey, well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take, I think it was 20 minutes, and we're gonna play this beat for a little bit, and we're gonna write. And you spliced in some of the conversation in between the writing with the counter, and then showed the song. I said, "Oh, this is." So the question I had for all that was, "What's going to be a part of every episode?" Which you answered. So what I want to do before I go to the next question, which is with that, is tied with that, is I want to play that clip. Mostly because you posted it, so I feel like if you posted it already, I can play it, and, and I want y'all to take a listen to this. This is fire.
It was just a normal day when you came around my way. Saw the way you walking so soul train. You got almond colored eyes, see you tatted on your thighs. Something about this feeling so lovely. I could do it good for you.
Do it good.
I might break some rules for you.
Break some rules.
I'm trying to keep it cool for you. Trying to keep it cool for ya. Can't fight this feeling inside.
That was my part right
there. I try to keep it disguised. I hate them catching feelings. Ain't trying to catch these feelings. Don't wanna catch these feelings. Ain't that I'm catching feelings.
That I'm catching feelings. Ain't trying to catch these feelings. Don't wanna catch these feelings. Ain't catching feelings. I need 3003. Oh, you got me crushing. Wanna give you that good loving and keep on serenading me.
Listen. You know me. I don't BS. I don't throw out compliments easily.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, this chick got something for real.
Yeah.
So along those same lines, the follow up to the question you had already answered with that hot track is, and if there's not, and if you haven't thought about it, if there's not, please let me be the one to plant the seed of it. Are there any plans to work on a collab release project of Songs with Friends Season 1, the soundtrack?
If people don't leave me alone about this, people don't leave me alone. Let me tell you something. So I definitely want to make this thing big. I definitely want these songs that we make, because I would say there's a handful of them from season 1 that I really love, that I would want to finish and really put out there. So definitely know that is, aside from a few people telling me that already, I already had it in my brain. Yes. And also, I won't speak this yet, but even more exciting than having a whole project. But I'm just taking it one step at a time. I'm like, let's get through releasing the show first and just gauging people's thoughts. But yeah, you're definitely not the first and will not be the last to bring that up. So yes.
Because listen, that was fire.
I like that part too. Can't fight this feeling inside. And I was telling him, I don't think it made it to the edit. I think I might have told him this when we weren't rolling. But that's what I love about collaboration. Because me as an artist, I would never think to write like that or create like a rhythm or like melody like that. I wouldn't, but he did. So that was a truly Ahmed moment, which I really appreciated because it inspired me even to open my mind to the different ways I could say a verse or say some parts of a verse, which is what it's all about. So.
Like and real talk, the and I'm off my notes now. I only got a few more questions on the notes anyway. Like the as you can tell, I was excited to get to this part. The the genius of putting in the conversation while you are trying to collab the work, how we're working the words, how we're gonna work the hook, how we're gonna work the pre-hook, how excited we're getting when something really lands. Like I forget what the word was, but you and him had a discussion about what word should be used. I think it was, I forget what it was. Daggone, I wish I'd remember what it was.
He said to use like hallway or sultry.
Sultry, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And how that building, well, let's try this. Well, this is what the thought, and then you said, well, when I hear hallway, this is what I'm thinking. And and he said, well, yeah. And it like hearing that, for me, especially again as a former writer, it got, I was like, this is fire.
Yeah.
This is a fire daggone concept. And if you are a writer or aspiring writer, this show is for you. Like if you're old like me and like good lyricism, this show is for you, because you get to understand now how this younger generation thinks in terms of their lyricism. Sometimes I feel like we as older people, we love our 90s R&B, we love our 90s hip hop, we love our 90s lyrics, and a lot of it, we say a lot of this newer stuff isn't as good because lyrically it's not good. But if we get to understand the thought process behind the writing, it makes it even more fun. Like you were talking about the one song where it's really just notes, but the purpose behind the notes is that it's a stutter. When you get that person who you just can't get the words out, they make you so nervous. Like that then puts a whole separate picture in the person's mind and makes the song now come together. Oh, this is like if I had just heard the song, the beat would catch me. Oh, this is a hot beat. Okay,
yeah,
I like the hook.
Shout out to Dormanville, who's the producer for that song.
Shout out, Big Dog. Appreciate you for doing what you do. Keep on doing what you do. By the way,
keep on doing it.
But like that would catch, and the hook. Okay, yeah. And I'm gonna be honest. Me as an old person, I would tune out because I'm old. I'm super old when it comes to my like I grew up, even though I was born in the 80s, raised in the 90s. I grew up on Motown generation style music, and then became ingratiated with 90s style R&B. Like that's my lane.
Right.
So when I think of music, I'm thinking of Boyz II Men and Luther. I'm thinking Stevie Wonder and Mariah Carey. Like I'm thinking these people whose their music made you feel something, as opposed to just like I can move to the beat and it's good, right? So my old brain, I'm like I would have tuned out the verses and would have just waited for the hook and kept grooving to the beat. Like we all had those couple of songs that we really don't know the lyrics to. But
not more than a couple. Catalog. Okay.
Like, we know we love the song.
Yeah.
We barely know the title of it, but when we hear them, we know it, and when that chorus or the hook come on, we in there. We don't know it. Like that would have been that for me because I know the new sound of the beat. That's a newer sound. So okay, something new, whatever. But hearing you guys work this out and hearing the mentality behind why we're putting this here, what these go, I was like, oh no, I got to hear. If she don't put this daggone thing to let me hear how this is gonna be, I got to hear how this turns out. Because I was literally watching the timeline of the live, because I didn't catch it live. I caught it just after.
Okay.
Because I thought it dropped at 8 and it dropped at 7. So
because people have to go to bed a little earlier on Sundays.
I'm old, but I also don't go to bed at all.
I know.
So I saw the 8 o'clock. I thought 8 o'clock. So I'm trying to say, oh, this is not okay. Well, I can catch it. Okay, I'm still gonna watch it like it's live. I just won't comment because I had planned on commenting. While I was going live, so I won't comment. I'll just watch it. This gives me a chance to really focus in on it. And I started looking at the time on YouTube. The how much time. But I said, she's not gonna put this song on. Why would you tease me like this? Don't do this. And then you put on. I was like, oh, this is fire.
I see.
Because, like I said, I do this. So in my mind, I'm thinking we got this much time left from how long she stayed live. And there's this much time left, it seems, from how much they're still trying to put into it. I know there's editing going on, but I don't think there's really going to be a whole lot of the song. I need to hear this. I had a visceral need to hear the song.
And I love that. That's what you're supposed to have. Okay.
Because if I didn't, I was gonna call you. Hey, no, I know. Look. I know. You didn't put on, but I got to hear. Let me at least hear. Let me just hear a piece of it. I got to hear the song. Like that's how I would have been. I promise you. So
I know
to know that there are plans for this, because
I'm glad you liked it so much, and this is the reaction I want people to have, and I feel like it'll speak the most to people who have done it or are doing it. Because that's something I care about. Like if I can really see any behind the scenes of how like a performance is made, a song is made, like I get excited. I have watched so many documentaries, biopics, everything to understand the background ins and outs stories that have made something or a person or a song a thing. So this is exactly the reaction that I love to hear. And yeah, I'm glad you had that. I
was all in. I really was. Like I'm gonna be honest, my whole mentality going in was, okay, this is Lex, we cool. I'm gonna support, so I'm gonna make sure I watch it, and be able to give feedback if she ever asks me for it. But I'm just gonna watch it. She gonna get the like, and everyone. That's what's gonna be. Like that was like my mentality. I'm only really looking forward to this to support because this is something you're doing, and I want to see you get great. Right? I want to be whatever I can do to help that out. That's what I want to try to do. Now, I'm looking forward to episode 2 because I'm like, this is a really good freaking show. I don't give a hell who put the show on. This is a good show. I need to see it. That's why I actually really in the text I had to ask you when episode 2 was dropping. It had nothing to do with trying to when is this thing? Because I thought it was gonna be last Sunday. So I'm like, yo, where's I literally had started looking at from 7:00 on your like. Wait, did I miss the time again? Where is it? Monday I went to work. Like, did I miss it? Where the heck is it? Where's it at? What in the? Where's the show? What is going on?
Yeah, so, it's bi-weekly. Bi-weekly releases. And next one I just so by the time this comes out, the next one will be with Jazzy the rapper, which is really fun. Like she's so talented as an artist, and she has Missy influences, and she's so good. So I'm excited to know how you felt about this next one when it comes out.
Oh, you gonna hear it. Listen, I promise you. This is my kind of show. I promise you, this is my kind of stuff right here.
Love it.
So, I'm gonna ask a question that's nowhere near on my notes, but because you mentioned the next episode, who's on the next episode, I'm gonna get personal.
Okay,
it's show personal.
It's show personal.
It's show personal. It's not like you. It's not like in your personal business. I ain't gonna do that to you.
Oh, okay.
It's show personal.
Okay.
If you're anything like me, whatever you create is like your baby. Like you really. So that means each episode is like your baby.
I know what you're gonna ask me.
Most people say that all parents have a favorite baby when they have multiple. So, what is your favorite episode?
Of course. My favorite episode?
Because I got one behind that because I think the answer might be different. I think, but I'm gonna ask what's your favorite first.
I like different ones for different things. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
That's a wonderful parent answer.
No, but because this, like, every experience with the person was different. Also, I'm still in the process of finishing the edits of some of the last ones. So I haven't been able to watch them from beginning to end to assess how I feel post-production. So I still just have based off of what we did on set. But I will say this. The episode
that I was most excited to shoot. Yeah. And probably had the best time shooting was this next one, was Jazzy's. But it was also the one I was most nervous about. And I think that's why, because it probably turned out to be, that way, just because it turned out so great. And I didn't expect it to turn out so great. And the reason was because I had seen Jazzy perform at a show for 404 Day. It was my first time seeing her perform. I was actually there to support another artist that night who was the headliner. But prior to it, I had met Jazzy's manager out at an event, at this Red Bull event. And so when I saw her, I was like, oh, that's the girl so it kind of connected. And then she just lit up the stage. And I became an instant fan. And I just had to know her. I had to work with her. And the show is called Songs with Friends. And this is something I'm going to clean up more when it comes to season 2. But in the beginning, I say friends both knew and nurtured. So, because at first I just wanted to have people on who I've known for a little bit and had like a really good true friendship or rapport with. But after thinking about who I wanted on season 1, I said, damn, well, I don't want to cut out the people who I'm really excited about too, who I'm not necessarily close to, you know? So yeah, and it was my first time even like it was going off on a limb, like, because she barely knew me, right? And so I just said, hey, I'm doing this show. I would love to have you on. I'm a fan. And then it just went so well. Like, she came on time. She was with it. She was professional. She enjoyed herself. She's talented. So I think the fact that I just went into it just not knowing how it was going to turn out, and for it to turn out so well, just from logistics speaking to her actual presence in the show and the end result, was great. It was great. And I think she's
what was
so
going to
dope.
be my follow up too, because I was going to ask which one did you have the most fun in, but it sounds like that is the one.
Yeah, because I just didn't think it was gonna go that well. I didn't think it was gonna go bad, but this was like, I've never met you before. I don't know what you're gonna be like. So for it to go so smooth and for us to have chemistry, and I said yes. So
I love it. That gets me even more excited.
And then the crew, they agreed too. They said, yeah, like, this is probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite. I said, okay, y'all. I met this girl 3 months ago. Okay, y'all. Shit.
Okay, so I'm gonna. I love it. All right. So I'm trying to close off with these last 3. I think it might just be these last 3. Yeah, but I'm excited about this doggone show. You have no idea. I'm like, you just don't understand what kind of life you breathe into me with this. I promise you. It's anyway. I'm super excited. But okay, so this is gonna be kind of a switch gears, but not. Because something that I heard about, but because I haven't had the chance to experience it, had to ask you about. However, then I found out it's true, as you will see in just a second. And then I'm like, oh, now I have to see if there's some meaning behind this. So I heard that at your shows and when you perform, currently you're doing some merch, and the merch that you're doing in particular is what I'm calling lip stickers. It's the stickers with the lips on it.
Yeah. It's just funny when you say it. I don't know why.
Is there meaning behind the lips? I'm curious because as a person who understands branding and logos and things like that, I'm just curious. Is there a meaning behind it? How did this come to be?
I'm getting feedback again, Pastor Jesse. I keep hearing myself. Getting distracted.
How about now?
Oh, perfect. Okay. I'll just start. 3, 2. So the meaning behind this lip mark. So again, did I mention this before? This goes back to college. I was a graphic design major in college, as you know, as the people do not know. And this was actually initially the logo that I made for myself as a graphic designer.
Ah.
Yes. So I rarely used it though. It was a requirement to make as part of being a senior about to graduate. They essentially wanted us to package ourselves as a brand or the beginnings of a brand as a designer. So this is what I made. And again, it relates to, I always like to bring things back to parts of me that are me. So this is the actual shape of my lips. And then the people want to call it a dimple or whatever, this little dent above my lip. That's not a hole, but a dent because it doesn't go all the way through. That's what I like to call it. I was born with it. It's not a piercing, never will be. Don't ask me again. All right. And so that's what I made. And so I had never really used it for that. And then I used it for the first time on the cover art for my song Effort back in 2019. And it just really fit. So I decided that now it was going to be part of my artist identity. And aside from it being my actual like shape of my lips, it also just represents my voice, just me finally coming into using my voice in more ways than one. And that's what it represents. It is actually going to get updated and changed just because I feel like it's about the season to make it better or change it completely. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Love it. I was just curious when I heard about it. I got to see it for myself. And then, because I'm all about like branding and understanding logos and things like that. I was like, I got to know the meaning behind it. Like, even my logo is literally, it's actually a cartoonist version of me. I have my boy, the late, great Russell. I told him the concept of the show, and I was like, I need a logo. I need something that's me. Mm-hmm. I said, okay, send me a picture with headphones on. So I did. And he gave me 3 separate renderings of that same logo. I was like, that's the one. That's what I'm going to use.
Yay, that's
so,
dope.
Like that. Yeah. So when I saw that, there's got to be something behind, because creatives don't do things just for the sake of doing it. There's got to be something behind it. So
definitely. Always.
So, aside from music and music related things, what are you passionate about?
Lately I've been really passionate about living a high quality of life. Or for me, high quality means more balanced. I'm naturally a workaholic. And especially when it comes to what I want, I just drive things forward. And within the past 2 years, I've just learned the detriment of ignoring everything else because of that. I've been really just studying. I've been really studying what it looks like to have like a good, well-rounded, positive quality of life. Like I've been studying different countries' economies and watched a documentary about Living to 100, about blue zone projects, like where areas around the world where people live the longest and why, and the factors that go into that. I've been praying more about God improving my community and giving me some really good people who care about me around me, who are in close proximity. I think that's the big thing. Who are my age range and like things like that, because I really haven't had that here like that. Or at least not in the way that served me. So yeah, I've been really passionate about learning what it means to have a great life and what that means for me, just so all of this stuff, so I can have my priorities in the right place. So.
Okay. And my final question is the question that every person I've ever interviewed hates, every creative person always hates, every artist usually hates, and you've already expressed you hate this question, but it's always my final question. What's next for Lex the Visionary, and what can we expect and look out for?
Oh, I don't hate this question. What's next? What can you expect from me? There's so many things just joggling in my head at one time, but what's next is I want to put out more music. I feel like once this show is done, I can say to myself, okay, Lex, you really promoted something from your project and you did it well. Thought about maybe promoting another song from the project, but I don't know. It's starting to feel like I'm starting to feel led to put out new stuff. So following the end of season 1 of the show, I want to be able to put out new music in a creative way, as I always like to. And yeah, I'm just continuing to build just the infrastructure for myself to grow and to reach more people. That means team, that means just getting counsel on what to do next, because I would love to put together like a great live performance video of my songs, to just have there out there to be able to submit to different things and festivals and be able to be part of performing. So yeah, so music and more performing for sure after this. That's the hope.
Awesome. Well, Miss Lex The Visionary, I appreciate you so much for coming on the Real Talk Podcast interview and spending some time with me. Let the folks know where they can find you. Please let them know how to subscribe to that YouTube channel so they can make sure they watch Songs with Friends. I promise you, y'all want to see it. You want to see it.
Yeah. So guys, you can follow me at Lex the Visionary on all platforms. Every single platform is Lex the Visionary. For Songs with Friends, that has its own Instagram page, and it is simply Songs with FRANDS, Songs with Friends. And you can watch the show through my YouTube channel, which is just Lex the Visionary. It shows just the different videos. Like that's the era that I'm in, Songs with Friends. So the latest videos will be up there. If not, I have a playlist called Songs with Friends that shows all the episodes, and we'll house them once the season is over. And yeah, I'm also on all streaming platforms, so you can listen to me anywhere.
Awesome. I am so glad to have had my good friend Lex the Visionary on. She took time out of her day, out of her busy schedule to come on my little old show so that we could talk. I appreciate you so very, very much. Any last words you want to say before I close it out?
No, this is great. This is a good time. Very in-depth, and yeah, that's all I'll say, or I'll be cussing you out.
I appreciate it. Y'all who don't understand, if you
Still
get to know me, the person, you'll understand.
Still not used to it.
It just takes time. It takes
It's
time.
awkward, bro. It's just so awkward. I'm like, bro, I just wanted to say this one thing, and then I got to stop myself and just leave it. I'm just like, what the hell?
But after a while, what'll happen? It'll become like second nature. It's like, oh, this person. I'm not gonna do that to you.
Oh, it will be a while too.
I mean,
because we're on year 4. That's a whole graduation ceremony. I didn't pass.
Well, if you look at it in terms of years, but if you look at it in terms of interactions, not necessarily.
Oh God.
Because think about it like this: how often in those 4 years have we had full-on out interactions?
We've had a lot of interactions.
We've had a lot, but 4 years worth? Not 4 years worth. I would say if we added all the interactions we've had in the last 4 years, we may have had a year and a half, maybe, and that's stretching it.
Fine, it'll take 10,000 hours. That's how you master a thing, isn't
That's
it?
how you master things. and that's what I look at. So, it takes some time. But after a while, it'll hit. And when it does, you won't even recognize that it hit. One day I'll be the one to call out, but you know what? You used to almost say, and you stopped, and you would have to stop yourself, and now you don't even say, you know what? You're right. So
I just got to pray to God not to be resentful along the way.
Oh, well, you won't be. I'm gonna pray that with you because you won't be.
No, I'm good.
Well, it's been a wonderful time. I appreciate y'all for listening. Please make sure you check out Lex the Visionary and everything she does, because everything she does is fire. If you're in the Atlanta area and you're following her on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, or any of the things that she's on, and she promotes where she's getting ready to be, make sure you get yourself down there to see it, because I promise you, a live Lex experience is one you'll never forget. Mm-hmm. Do yourself a favor. Y'all know what I say each and every week that we come together. No matter what you do, no matter where you are, do yourself a favor and always keep it real. This has been the Real Talk Podcast interview session. Thanks for listening.
This is Real Talk. Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk, Real Talk. This is Real Talk. Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk, Real Talk, Real Talk.